Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome, my gorgeous and fiery Sagittarius. Um, this is going to be your June 2025 reading. It will be for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Many of you are intuitively guided. Thank you for paying attention to your intuition. You could certainly be in love with the Sagittarius. But I want you to understand because I read through my spirit guides who connect to your guides, they know you're here. So just be open for some messages for yourself also. So there's just a couple things I want to go over before we get into the cards. So Jupiter, your ruling planet, is really going to enhance your optimism and your luck for June. Like your optimism, well, it's probably luck that's making you optimistic, but whichever direction it comes, it feels very good. With Mars entering Aries, I believe it's on the 3rd, this will really ignite passion and drive, especially in romance, but not only in romance, but romance is a big part of it. The full moon in Capricorn is really going to illuminate your career and your ambitions. By harnessing the energy of Jupiter and Mars, you can make some life changing strides, both personal and professional. I feel like the best thing to do is to embrace any new changes and really remain open to new and what I really feel is going to be exciting experiences. It just feels like this is going to be a good month for you. So, let's go ahead and get into the cards. We will give Mother Mary the honor of opening our reading. As always, we'll use the Gilded Tarot to go deeper. And deep we go. For anyone who's new, that's one of the reasons why the readings are long by some people's standards. To me, I couldn't imagine any other way. But it is because we go deep. I want to find you real answers, real solutions, and not just, give you pretty little things. Like I want real answers for Sagittarius. So your main spread, we're going to use the Psychic Tarot, and then we are going to use the major arcanas. And I use those just as like bullet points, but they bring so much value to the reading. And I feel like they give us a clue about what the reading's going to be about. So let's go ahead and get into the cards. I'm going to bring my lid down, 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 down. I don't know why it's reminding me of Fleetwood Mac's song. Uh, oh man, all of a sudden I can't think of it. We go into the tall grass, we go down, down, down. Something like that. All right, Mother Mary, for our beautiful Sagittarians. That didn't take long. Forgiveness, difficult, but definitely possible. And I can tell you, just from my own experiences, I've had some rough things in my life and some rough people, but I had to forgive them. Otherwise, I feel like I never would have evolved, on a spiritual level. So forgiveness, I feel, is so important. But let's read what it says. I am willing to release old resentments so that I may enjoy my life. Release it. Let it go as much as you can. Doesn't mean you have to pick up the phone and be like, hey, by the way, I forgive you. You're forgiving in your heart. You're just no longer willing to carry that energy along. And sometimes I feel like things are outside of our control, but yet we tend to carry it. So, forgiveness. All right, let's see if there's anything else. We'll give it a shuffle or two. Okay, well, that's way too many. Taking this one. Huh. Of all the cards I could have chosen, I chose love, and love chose me. Love. I just got goosebumps. I mean, real goosebumps. Love is the answer to all of my questions. Love is the answer to all of my questions. So, forgiveness first. And then who knows, maybe just the releasing of that energy brings in, maybe romantic love. But I feel like really what it does is, first of all, it raises your vibration. And if you just think of the law of attraction, wherever your vibration is at, well, that's what the universe must meet. So if you're in a higher vibration, then let's say love, well, the love that comes back towards you must also be of that vibration. If it's not, then it will naturally want to fade away pretty quickly. The human part of us tends to pull it back in. So, I would just say pay attention because I do feel like there's going to be romantic encounters. Um, so, just be as open as you can, and then you don't have to worry. Just be open. All right, let's bring in the major arcanas. And by the way, everything is always pre-shuffled before I begin a reading, but I do like to give it a shuffle with you here also. All right, well, that didn't take long. We have the High Priestess, that's your intuition. I like this image. There's like all this fairy dust. Feels like dreams coming true. Feels like your power to make these dreams come true, though. You can also relate this to your higher self. Your higher self is always speaking to you. Especially when you're going through trials and tribulations, your higher self would say, we've been there before. We've overcome this before. We can do it again. And remember, the high priestess, your intuition, is your GPS to use in this lifetime. I relate it to like if you're in your car and you're in a brand new city and you're trying to find an address. This day and age, what are we going to do? We're going to put it in our GPS and we're going to let it direct us right to our location. Well, that's the same thing your intuition wants to do for you. And then we have the death card. First of all, card is Scorpio. But you know what I'm going to say next? Certainly does not have to be. And honestly, with the major arcanas, I'm not really reading them as signs, I'm reading the energy. So it could be potentially a door that is ready to close, a chapter that is ready to end. We're in this universal year 9, the last year of a 9-year cycle. And I definitely am feeling this in our readings that the more we take this on a serious level, or maybe on a spiritual level, knowing that certain cycles are just meant to end. But with a death card, it is about a rebirth. It's transformation, the closing of a door, but then the promise of a new door opening. Your intuition is like guiding you, on potentially what door, what chapter may have run its course. So this is going to be probably an important month, really. Trust your intuition. Try not to second guess it, which is very easy to do. Hello, star. So how about that door opening up? This is about your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. How about that? So, a cycle coming to an end, but then dream or dreams coming true. Now, this does need your physical action, just like, something may present itself, then whether you're going to accept that or not. I feel like that really is why your intuition, the high priestess is here, because there are some dreams that are ready to manifest, but you need to trust your intuition. Forgiveness, I'm getting it more and more why Mother Mary is saying, try not to carry that energy with you. Understand that, cycles come and cycles go. Sometimes cycles or something that happens within that cycle can last the rest of your life. Also, card of Aquarius, by the way. It's funny, that's my daughter's sun, her sun sign, and her moon sign. But she's a Scorpio. All right, let's go ahead and bring in the psychic tarot. And let's see what dreams. Well, let's see what door needs to close. Really leaving it open to our guides, whatever our guides want to tell us. I'm just an open vessel for them of the light and only of the light. But I do feel like it will speak about, what chapters need to close. If you so choose, it is your choice. Well, sometimes it's your choice. And then what dreams want to manifest. Didn't take long at all. Look at that, the star again. Here it's called hope. Hope. Look at the energy she's holding in her hands. She or he. Like energy. Energetic. Interesting. It's the first time I really ever spoke about this card in that way, but I'm definitely feeling like there's this energy. So this may be something you're going to feel, but also maybe manifesting. There's someone in the middle of that. Like of all that energy, there's a figure. I can't really tell who it is, but maybe I'm not meant to know yet. So, double Aquarius, foundation and achievements. That, my friends, is the marriage card. That is the commitment card. We have beautiful awareness. Look at that. It's like a chakra's being activated. And then we have deception and envy. So, I have a feeling we can put that right in the chapter that we want to close. Seven of Swords, it's difficult energy. It's not your energy. It's someone else's energy. And oftentimes I feel like, this is the way I feel it, or the way my guides have me feel it. Like this doesn't always mean like, I'm with a cheater, but it's definitely someone who tells a lot of lies. And they do it because, I feel that their mentality is, well, I'd rather just tell you a lie so I don't have to deal with the consequences. It's somewhat immature. Not somewhat, it is immature. Um, Definitely not someone who is thinking about like, where's my vibration? What's my energy? You know, I don't feel like they even think on that level. This is someone who is more than happy to live in lower vibrational energy. But I don't feel that you are anymore. So let's keep going. Let's see what's going to mirror the star. Partnerships and alliances. Beautiful. partnerships and alliances. And by the way, just look at the way they're holding each other. It's not like a handshake, how do you do? It's like a recognition. It feels to me like two souls saving each other. And I'm not saying that you need saved, but there just feels something like, again, I have goosebumps. Like there's this feeling of someone I feel, it doesn't have to mean it's romantic, though I have to say I do love this um, for romance also. Some of you could be the perfect partner, you know, whether it be love or someone that you decide to work with. Definitely feels like I feel a soulmate energy with this. Interesting. I'm also noticing the tattoo. You may have a tattoo, or someone that you're connected to or will be connected to might have a tattoo. So these two people get each other. Like they have the same goals in mind. They don't have to be exact, and they may even go about it differently, but ultimately arrive at the same place. Feels like someone is reaching out and you're reaching back. Well, no wonder the Seven of Swords, which really is the only energy that does not fit with the rest. Like one of these things don't go with the other. So we're going to put him right in the chapter that wants to close. But awareness also, like, I feel like you can't deny what you know. You can't deny what is the truth. But one thing you can do is decide, is this how I want to live my life? Do I want to give this type of energy my energy? Or is it time to move on? Only you can answer that question because it really is free will. Wow. Hello, soulmates. And I knew it. I felt it. I felt it. And I got goosebumps again. I love it when I get goosebumps in a reading. Not that I feel like I need confirmation because I'm very trusting within our guides, but I feel like this is more for you. And by the way, it's not just the soulmates. This one says spiritual union. So we'll keep that on the back burner for now, but it's coming under the star card. And we do have two star cards. And now we have two soulmates. No wonder I felt something special in just the way that they're holding each other. And it feels like they're just meeting. I'm saying just meeting. It could certainly be, someone that I know on a soul level who is back in my life. But if that's the case, it feels like at just the right time. There definitely feels like soul recognition. Again, I'm not going to say just romance, but no, I should say it is romance, but I also feel there's other things to come. So let's keep going. And we have two stars. So do we have two people and the magician who really want to manifest, maybe a higher vibration of love? Like I've dealt with the Seven of Swords. I've dealt with this deception. Even the envy. Sometimes people, treat us badly because they can't be us. And therefore they try to make us feel bad about ourselves. Go home to mama. Go home to mama. All right, we have the Chariot, which is called Triumph in this deck. right next to the soulmates and under the marriage card. Chariot really speaks about unlimited potential. It is the balance of the feminine and the masculine. Well, we have that right here. It is the balance of the shadow and the light. Well, I feel like that's exactly what's being illuminated to you. You know, who's living in their shadow energy but has no plan of changing that. And I just get this sense of like you've had enough. Like enough is enough. All right. Conflict and defeat. It is a 5. Now, it is mirroring the death card. But I want to tell you, I don't feel like there's anything you cannot get through. It's just getting through it. Because again, a change with the 5. But you're very clear. Like, this is just what I'm feeling. Like, I feel like you're very clear on what changes, right? The 7 of Swords is probably the one that's caused a lot of conflicts in your life. Um, because they really do come from a lack mentality. I feel like someone just doesn't want to see you do well. But having said that, now that you're aware of that, I kind of feel like you're saying bye bye. So long to you. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more. By the way, a 5, which is change, with the 1 right above it. That feels like the beginning of something. And hello, 2 of Wands. So this means that you are about to, well, it literally says movement, choices, and decisions. Are you willing to deal with the conflict? Or have you had enough? Are you willing to deal with deception? Or are you tired of it? We have the 5 of Cups. Interesting, the 5 of Cups is mirroring the soulmates. And unfortunately, you can't see it in this image. I hope we get to soulmates again so you'll be able to see what I'm about to tell you. But in the 5 of Cups, it really, it is a 5, right? So it's change. But this one wants you to just ask yourself, where is your focus? Is your focus on what was? Is your focus on the cups that have been knocked over? The reason why you're being asked to potentially change your focus is, though you can't see it in this image, there's 2 cups. 2 cups that's behind this change. Well, we literally have those 2 cups. And right above it, partnerships and alliances. This doesn't have to talk about this lifetime. Because you're soulmates, you could have had many lifetimes together. But the thing is you know each other. Even if you don't know each other, on this physical plane yet, you know each other on a soul level, and you will recognize that. You'll feel it. Holy cow, Sagittarius. Other than this energy right here, deception and envy and the conflict and defeat, which I feel like is what we want to put in the chapter that's ending, that allows this new chapter, which we're seeing quite a few places, to then open. So some of you may be right now making some decisions in your life, but real decisions. The Chariot connected or mirroring your intuition, where it really means unlimited potential. But you have to trust that. And I feel like, and that's where you also want to trust your intuition again. So your intuition is a big, big part of this reading. Try not to overthink it. It's that first instinct. Some of you already know, like as I was speaking, you're like, okay, I know who you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Trust that. All right, let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. Another 5. Financial and material changes. See what's under it. Hello, Empress. I feel like this is saying what you're doing is you're remembering your Empress, the Empress within you. Mother Mary is bringing out love, where the Empress is nurturing, loving, but she's had a lot of experiences and a lot of them difficult. But it is what's made her who she is today. This is someone who says, just because you, 7 of Swords, broke my heart, I'm not going to close off my heart. It doesn't mean like that you're out searching for love or what have you. You're just remaining open. This is also very creative. So if there's been any financial changes, I feel like, well, the Empress will, make lemonade out of lemons. We'll see if she makes her way out. But she wanted to be seen. Some of you are just figuring out that you do carry that energy. Male or female, by the way. Just with Jupiter's energy alone, being in the Empress's energy, wow. You want to talk about dreams coming true. Remember, she's very creative. And she's very powerful. I feel with the Empress, like if anything is coming towards you easily, if it's of a negative nature, you'll pick it up, you'll know it, and you'll just usher it right out the door. But if it's coming of a higher vibration, then come on in. Come to my window. Wonder if everybody knows who that song's from. Come to my window. I know, I have a terrible singing voice, but can't help it. All right. Major Gilded Tarot. We will now take it over the reading. I don't know why my screen's so dark. Hang it. So, we have 2 star cards. We have 2 soulmates. We have 2 people meeting within this partnerships and alliances. It's two hands, 2 different hands holding each other. Oh, oh, okay. We have 6 of Cups. Someone that I used to know. Maybe. We have the Death card. Hello, Sun. Beautiful. Sun is your illuminator. It's coming right over awareness. I feel like good luck to anyone who tries to pull the wool over your eyes. I want to say in June, but I feel like for forevermore, really. Because as your vibration evolves, you know, just good luck for those of lower vibration trying to be with you. It's not going to, I just don't feel like it's going to happen. So the sun illuminates everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. But Seven of Swords, I do want that illuminated, though, it can be hurtful energy, but I'd rather know than not know. The sun really is the promise of a brand new day, and I love that it's following the death card. So now we have the death card here twice, double Scorpio, by the way. And the sun is a card of Leo. But you guys know I'm going to say, don't have to think about that unless that's a sign that resonates to you. But the sun really is a beautiful energy. And I love that the Six of Cups came out. Number one, a six, June. So when are these dreams coming true? June. Six of Cups really speaks about happy memories. It's the energy of nostalgia. Makes me wonder in the Five of Cups if it's someone that you've known. Whether you've known him in this lifetime or not, it doesn't really matter because you are soul connected. But for some of you, you may know, this could be someone that you've thought about. I was about to say often, but maybe not often, but here and there. I feel like they're not the same person in the Seven of Swords. Nine of Cups. Beautiful. I feel like you're reclaiming your life. Nine of Cups is inner harmony, but it's also fulfillment of wishes. Holy wishes all over your reading. So I do feel like this means you're moving on from lower vibrational energy, lower vibrational people. Like, I had enough. Like, I really want some of my wishes to start manifesting. Well, this is the perfect energy for that. Some of you could certainly be, you might be single. It might be something that's fairly new. But in this energy, you're kind of loving it. Again, doesn't mean you're not open to adventure, because you are in the Nine of Cups. But this is the energy where dreams are starting to come true. And let's just say that this soulmate energy was always meant for this time. Well, then it would make sense that, one of the most important things here is knowing what chapters have now, run its course. I feel like whoever you've been dealing with in the Seven of Swords, um, I don't know. I just get this feeling like you tried. You tried. And don't put the blame on you. I'm not saying, you have zero fault, but at the same time, I feel like don't put the blame on you. All right. We have the King of Cups. King Cups can be Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. And then, well, hello, Knight of Wands over the soulmates. You want to talk about passion? That is passion, my friends. This can be the energy of truly being swept off your feet. It feels to me like all I have to do is merely put my wishes out there. But then also maybe say to the universe, divine, that, as these wishes come in, I'm ready and willing. Kind of feel like you're going to get swept off your feet. But if nothing else, it's passion and it's fast moving. Well, because it's so passionate. I know some people don't like when I talk about someone of the past, but, I feel like I'd be a hypocrite if I left that out because that is my life. You know what I mean? I am back with someone from my childhood. And you got a lot of you know my story, like 40 years after the fact. Did I expect it? No. Did I think of him in, my times of sorrow? I did. Did I help manifest that without even knowing it? Maybe. We have justice, Carta Libra. This is definitely about balance. You know, if something is unbalanced in your life, then you don't feel so good, right? It doesn't feel good. So it's learning to use that sort of justice, which I feel is a gift, just like our intuition. And what I mean by that is, yes, we're human beings, but we're also spiritual beings. We're actually spiritual beings in human bodies. We are the vehicle for our soul. So this sword is really part of your power to cut out whatever is just not working, right? To rebalance you, rebalance your energy. I know one thing. I know that some of you are clearly understanding what you no longer want in your life. I feel many of you are understanding that if I want a better life, then, I got to kind of clean house. We have the Ten of Wands, over conflict and defeat. I felt that. I felt that you tried. This is where all the responsibility is on your shoulders. And, that's just the loving nature of you. But it's not fair. It's just not fair. But the sun's illuminating that to you. Like a true partnership should be, I want to say 50-50, but 100-100. All right, we have the Queen of Pentacles, my little psychic detective, and then the Emperor. The Emperor. Interesting. All of a sudden, a country song is coming into my mind, and I'm not a huge country fan, though I love all music. Um, but there's a song, I think it's called "A Better Man." Like, I want a better man. Now, could be woman also for those who are male. Um, the Emperor is definitely someone that we can look up to. Definitely someone who has their life together. It's interesting. We saw the Empress under that change, yet now we see the Emperor, like literally on the table, but over the Five of Cups. Hmm. You know what it just feels to me like minded energy. Like minded energy. The Emperor is, compassionate and empathetic. The Emperor is smart, but also street smart, spiritually. This is someone who would definitely reach out to help someone who needs help. but they know who to help and who not to help. You know, you can't, just like the Empress, you know, you can't pull the wool over the Emperor's eyes either. Remember how I was saying that I felt like there were similar goals? Well, it makes sense now. I mean, it made sense before, but I feel like the Emperor is part of those two cups that brings us right back over to here again. Could also be connected to the King, because right now I'm feeling the Emperor is more about the type of person, like someone who does have their shit together. Yeah, it doesn't mean they're perfect because no one's perfect, but it definitely feels that way, like they got their shit together. And you know, if I go back one card where I call the Queen of Pentacles my psychic detective, where she's also touching that Seven of Swords, so you know, and the Sun, anything done in the dark will come to the light. So don't try to hide it from the Queen of Pentacles. And I feel like it's you. I feel like you are the Queen of Pentacles. And I feel like you are my psychic detective right now. And that's what you're trying to figure out. Well, I don't even know if you're trying to figure it out. I feel like you know. You know, and the one thing I can say, I feel like if this is talking about a relationship that was, or that you were hoping would be, but yet is not turning out that way, I don't know. I just get the sense of you're going to see the truth, recognize the truth. Don't beat yourself up because, you know, it's definitely showing that this is not something that, um, I don't feel like you were like lowering your vibration to try to be with this person. I feel like because their vibration is just of a lower nature, it was very hard to be with this person. But again, the energy of being able to walk away knowing, hey, I tried. Don't forget, you're ending up in the Nine of Cups. That's a great place to end up. And it could be talking about singular energy, but probably not for long. You know, I guess it depends on whenever you decide to close that chapter. Whenever you allow transformation to happen. You know, and again, the sun is your friend here. The sun is here to help illuminate that. And the death card, right? Closing of a door, and then the sun comes out. Hello. It's like, man, I've been stuck in the dark for so long. I don't even know what the sun feels like. Well, it's beautiful. It's warm to your very soul. I'm going to go right beneath also. I kind of want to see what's going to mirror the Six of Swords, the Nine of Swords. I really wasn't expecting that. But you know what? I have a feeling, because this is about unnecessary worry. It is worry, but it's unnecessary. And I don't know why, but I feel like, and it may just be for a few of you, you may worry that you're reconnecting with someone of a younger year, but you yourself have aged, as we all have. So the worry may be like, will they accept me for who I am today? Unnecessary worry, especially, you know, with the soulmate, you know, and though I really do hate talking about myself, um, but when I see like situations I've been through, I feel like I should share them. So this reminds me of like when Sam reached out to me, you know, 40 years after the fact. Um, and it really did take me 5 years before I made the ultimate decision to move in with him. Because what was I worried about? Stupid little things. The things that I worried about never manifested. We now live together. Well, we've been living together now for 5 years. Boy, time flies. But that's what I feel. I feel like the things that I'm worrying about in here, like the day will come, you'll be like, holy cow, why did I have all that worry? But that's okay. Maybe you're just meant to work through it. Maybe the passion that's connected to this, it can be a little scary, but exciting at the same time. Some of you it's like you cut ties with this lower vibrational energy. You're living your life. You're feeling good. You're finding this inner harmony. You're thinking about the things you want to manifest. Maybe for some of you, maybe it is like you actually were asking for your soulmate. Well, your soulmate is now on the table. But I feel like it's going both ways. And then I also feel, because I don't want to read the Emperor just as like love, though I do feel it. But this could also be you doing the things that you've always wanted to do that maybe others have kind of held you back. In a way, you've held yourself back, but, because you know, we have to claim ourselves. Um, but it's very understandable. And if divine is involved at all, because this could definitely be like that job promotion. I often feel the emperor owns his or her business or the opportunity to. Some of you may be ready to bring something to the world, but you may be afraid that, will other people resonate with it? The answer is yes. Okay, it's that simple. Yes. So I feel like if you're asking that question, that is your answer. It's not coming from me, it's coming from your spiritual team. Justice could actually represent, well, with the Four of Wands right above that, which is about commitment, but yet the Death card over that. I feel like we just have to learn that not all relationships are going to work out. And not all relationships are meant to work out. But each one might be a stepping stone, right? Each one might be teaching you something or helping you to raise your vibration. Let's face it, if we've been with someone who's untrustworthy, deceptive, or envy, well, we know we don't want that again, right? So, lesson learned. Here you are, Queen of Wands, connected to the High Priestess, and you are one of the most intuitive signs of all the signs. What I love about the Queen of Wands is this is someone who oftentimes moves first and thinks about it later. Like if I'm passionate about something, I'm going to move into it. That's why I call the Page of Wands my risk taker. And I feel like one of the things the Page and the Queen and the King learn is not all things are going to turn out in my favor, but really, maybe they are. You know, yeah, some things are difficult. It's hard to end chapters sometimes. Yet, with you showing up now, look what she's doing. She's lighting a flame. Like, hello, flame. So I feel like you're definitely cutting ties. Well, if you so choose. But I feel more of you are ready for this than not. Let's just call it adventure. So, adventure of the highest form, really. We have the strength card. Beautiful. First of all, double Leo, right in the same line. Sun is Leo's ruler, and the strength card represents Leo also. But this is about ourselves. This is our inner workings. This is controlling the beast within ourselves. It is about finding true balance. And it is an eight. And when you find that true balance, then it's about a new beginning. Strength card is your courage to take chances. And if anyone is trying to get in the way of that, I just feel like you're not having that any longer. A change with the five, a new beginning with the eight. The sun represents a new beginning, but nothing to fear when the sun is out. Again, if you're falling in love, well then the sun is your illuminator. And that's what you want to trust. But I feel like it's also illuminating, again, the energy that is ready to go. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more. Eight of Wands. Goosebumps again. Eight of Wands is very much like the law of attraction. What I think about, I bring about, and it's mirroring the star. What I think about, I bring about. You know, a lot of times you'll see those wands going out into the universe. Well, I feel like those are your soul seeds of intention. And a lot of times you'll see four wands going out and four wands coming back. That's the universe meeting your intention. But also fast moving energy of two energies that talk about something moving quickly. But yet, with you having what feels like real clarity, you having inner harmony, and if you haven't reached it yet, it's like here's the ability. You know, the Seven of Swords really feels like the only thing here where that chapter has ended, but I have to allow it to end because I feel some of you with the Ten of Wands is like, I tried and I tried and I tried, but do I want to keep trying? And only you can answer that question. Divine can't make you leave someone, but they can certainly illuminate to you that true person. And then you make that ultimate decision. But I feel like what your guides are trying to show you is the beauty of your tomorrow, if you so allow. Well, hello, Ten of Pentacles. Oh, House of Abundance. House of Money. So, again, you have some planetary action that is definitely helping you with this. Well, I say helping, but I feel like you can take advantage of. Coming under the Emperor. Some of you may be working from home, or you're wondering, should I? Can I? Will I be successful? Again, it's showing you that you have that potential. It's like taking all that wisdom from all your experiences and then putting them to use for you instead of against you. Hello, soulmates again. You are not the only one who is I'm saying you're putting your intention out there, but this may just be divine timing. This might just be the right time for these two. And then the Knight of Swords, like ring, ring. Hi. Hey, how you been? How you been? It's not like I'm gonna die and all of a sudden. How you been? Knight of Swords definitely is bringing some type of communication in. And I feel like anytime you see a knight, they're going to complete their mission. Whether you choose it or accept it or not is up to you. But they're going to complete their mission. I often feel sent from a queen or a king. So it feels like someone's going to be communicating with you. Not just someone, though. Hello, a soulmate. I don't want to make this just a love reading, but my God, the love is like off the charts. But everything feels so well earned. Like you going through these experiences and you overcoming, you being very honest with yourself and no longer accepting, what doesn't feel right. And then moving into that Nine of Cups, that is your inner harmony. That is you really loving your life. Doesn't mean everything's perfect, but there's enough. I mean, this person's doing a cheer, ching ching. So 2 stars, 2 soulmates. I know we have others. 2 death cards. And I know there's others, but I just can't see them. All right. What I want to do, by the way, this communication is coming in towards you. And I'm saying that because I often feel like, let's say that you were in a committed, well, as committed as could be, relationship with this person over here. But this person did not treat you well. But it doesn't mean you didn't try. You did try. Um, but it's still, it's almost like it was never gonna work out anyway. Now, I'm not saying that this person doesn't have the same opportunities that we have to evolve, but I know that certain people just don't want to. I'm happy living my life the way I'm living it. Well, then live it alone. Live it without me. Because I feel like you're putting the hammer down. And, as you were going through this energy, there could have been someone on your mind, or right back to the soulmates. Did I manifest them and didn't even know it? Like, didn't even know that I was manifesting them. When I say that I thought about Sam, um, we were like, I lived in a different state than he did, so I didn't run into him, anything like that. Um, but I knew the minute I met him back in our teenage years that there was a special connection. But it didn't guarantee us that it was going to work out, but maybe it wasn't meant to at that time. Maybe there's things that I needed to accomplish in my life and he needed to accomplish in his life. And then we came together. All right. I think what I want to do, I want to look at the Ten of Pentacles first because I definitely feel this is talking about your money and I feel like a card flipped. Nope. Your money, but the opportunity to really create true abundance for yourself. Now, in the Ten of Pentacles, I often feel you're not alone. Just like in the Nine of Cups, I feel like you are alone, but you're happy. Interesting because I feel when I was with this person, I wasn't alone, but I wasn't happy. And now I am alone and I am happy. So it would take a very special person to come in, especially for you, Sagittarius, to come in and change that. Not that they're trying to change your happiness, but to take you from a single status into what I feel is, spiritual union. Oh my gosh. Hello, Knight of Cups. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Unexpected couple fulfillment. I am looking at the Ten of Pentacles, but I just have to say that it's coming over the Five of Cups and connecting to the Emperor. So even though the Emperor is a card for Aries, I am not just reading it that way at all. I am reading this as someone who does think about their vibration, does think about their spirituality, definitely cares for their fellow man and woman, just like you do. Again, you can go about it in different ways, but you ultimately end up in the same place. And I feel like that's what's happening here. This is an unexpected couple fulfillment. And I won't leave off the table that this can even be fulfillment in like a new job, a new opportunity, maybe even business ownership. Like, what do you want to do today? I feel like there's nothing stopping you. But unexpected cup. And it might just blow you away. Because I felt in that night, the Knight of Wands, almost like you're being swept off your feet. But I don't mean in a way where you would sever control. Just like, holy cow. Like, whoa, the passion. Here I am loving my single life. But then this passion, like, I can't deny it. It probably even scares me a little. And maybe taking time, right? Communicating. I have a feeling you'll be speaking about your life and they'll be speaking about their life. And I have a feeling you'll find a lot of synchronicities. Because again, I feel like the two of you are on the same vibrational level. So it's like a night and day difference between this old relationship and what now wants to come in. Will I allow it? I hope so. You don't have to, but I hope you do. We have the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Cups, and I feel like there was one more knight. Oh, the Knight of Swords. So each one of these knights, remember, they're going to complete their mission. So this passion's going to come in, come hell or high water. This unexpected cup of fulfillment, it's coming. Whether I accept it or not. I don't have to say yes. But it's giving me zero reason to say no. The only thing that would make me say no is this Nine of Swords. But I feel, again, unnecessary worry. It's something that you can overcome, but maybe having like some long discussions, like talking on the phone before you even come together. And kind of like for, let's say, if you already know this person, and by the way, if you already know them, I feel like they're from back in the day. Though, let's remember, soulmates, they know each other. They know each other's soul. And it doesn't have to mean in this lifetime. You always are connected. But now it feels like it wants to come in this lifetime. Okay, let's come over to the other side, where we have the Knight of Wands, the Soulmate Union, the Nine of Swords. How quiet I said that. But the star right above it. Well, I guess the good news is we came from the down from the Nine of Swords to the Eight of Swords. This is really a self-created prison. This is really how one chooses to, let's say, protect themselves. This is putting up barriers. Not I'm not talking boundaries, I'm talking barriers. And maybe you need a little time to like put these walls down. But listen, there's nobody better than a soulmate to help you. This is self-created and you are the one who has to uncreate it, but I just get this sense that just a soulmate is going to help you with this. I don't think I've ever said that before. Hmm. Come on. The star again. The Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is really energy. It's outside of our control, but it is change. And in the Five of Pentacles, many of you have heard me say this before. I feel like you are moving. It's moving you closer and closer to soulmate energy of all forms. Wow. I can't deny the love on this board. Holy cow. I feel like as love goes, like you take the cake this month. You win the prize. But it's because of you. It's because of what you're clearing and what you're allowing. And, don't be afraid of a little fear because the right person will help you work through that just as you will help them. They may have the same fear, but I feel like they still reach out. This feels like quite an amazing reading to me. I want to come up to the Six of Cups. Who is sitting over the star that has a star below it with the Two of Cups? And I'm not trying to be a repeat or a broken record, but the star, the star, the star. It's almost like like you find a genie in a bottle and you have three wishes granted to you. And you might be like, holy shit, I got to think about this. What wishes do I want? Well, some of them are just going to happen. Okay. Three of Pentacles. Beautiful. Hollow Magician. The Magician with the sun over it. Three of Pentacles. Let's start with that first. Because the Three of Pentacles is about celebrating your individuality or someone else's. Sometimes you're with someone, even if it was a past life, but let's just say in this lifetime, this would be someone who has never forgotten you. This is someone who sees you on an individual level and loves you for that. It means they love you for exactly who you are, even those broken pieces. I feel like this person's been, do they mean to manifest you? Well, they are the ones that are going to communicate, I feel. And then we have, huh, a reason to celebrate. This is the energy of joy. Sagittarius. What a reading. You know, the one thing I want to say, this is why my readings are longer, because I want you to understand that this isn't like magic. This is you doing the work, but then you reaping the benefits of that work. This is you clearing and then opening up these new doors. You know, maybe this new door couldn't open up with the old door still open. And I feel like the old door is what's connected to the deception and envy. But I definitely feel you're overcoming that. Not only are you overcoming that, but I feel you're better than ever. And I feel like when this, let's just say love, well, soulmate love, when it enters, I don't feel like you expect it. You know, I often say we don't always have to put the ball in someone else's court. If there's someone on our mind, I don't know, we can reach out. Um, and sometimes it's not always good news, but I'd rather know than not know. But in this reading, it feels definitely like someone is communicating to you because I feel like you are just living life. You're finding opportunities. You are taking advantage of your ruling planet and the luck and the passion. What did I say? I actually wrote it down. Jupiter, your ruling planet, will enhance your optimism, Three Swords, and luck. Mars entering Aries on June 3rd will ignite passion and drive, especially in romance. The full moon in Capricorn will illuminate your career and ambitions. That's why I'm not reading the Emperor just as love. By harnessing the energy of Jupiter and Mars, you can make life changing strides, both personal and professional. Embrace any changes and remain open to new and exciting experiences. Well, I didn't write that just for nothing. Okay. All right. Let's bring in the clarifying love situations. I mean, I feel like your reading's so clear. And your guides know that you have free will, but sometimes they will try everything to get you to close the door when it's no longer serving you, or maybe it's never served you. They can make things feel uncomfortable. They can certainly put challenges in front of you, but it's like they're trying to tell you, putting these challenges because there's a new door. They can't make you. Free will, like your intuition, like the sword of justice, all a gift. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it'd be easier not to have free will. But if we remember again that we're spiritual beings in a human body having experiences so that our soul can grow and evolve, that is why we're here. Our spiritual being doesn't carry the fear that our human mind does. Dawn of recovery. which with each new beginning, embrace risk as a gateway to healing and renewal. With each new beginning, you have, I mean, how many times do we have the star? At least 3, if not 4 times. Which each new beginning, embrace risk as a gateway to healing and renewal. That's also what the death card is about. See if anything else. Okay. Between the lines, uncover the truth carefully and write your own ending. Goosebumps again. You know, you are the author of your story. You are writing your book. How do you want it to be? What type of book? Think about like a really good book or a really good movie. There's ebbs and flows in it, right? That's what makes the movie so good. Like through the hard times and how they've overcome. And then the romance that opens up. Like, seriously, think about this. You are the author of your book. All right, let's bring out the romance angels because love is all through this reading. And I just want to say for those who have no interest of anyone of the past, then this may be speaking about past lives. Maybe something was left unfinished. Maybe something came in between you and your love. I've done a few past life readings. And the last one I did, I just loved it. It's one of my favorite readings too. Matter of fact, I added it to the personal readings I do because I've had a few people ask me if I do past life reading, which I never really do in personal readings, but now I've added that because I feel like it's good to know, what, let's say, what hasn't been cleared or how is a past life affecting us in this lifetime? Who did we love? And are they coming back into this lifetime? The answer is yes. Keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. Look at Cupid up there. I mean, it feels like you're being guided together. This woman has a daughter. Some of you could be single parents. But that won't matter because the soulmate's going to love you and your children and you theirs if they have children. But just keep an open mind. Retreat. It's time to disconnect from the world. I love this image because I feel like this man that this woman is walking with and they're out in nature. I feel like it's one of her spiritual teams and she's looking for guidance from them. And I feel she's going to find it. I know she finds it. Some of you could represent like when you're out in nature, peaceful. I feel when you're peaceful, you may receive real epiphanies, real guidance. And even the Nine of Cups, like taking some time, because from the Nine of Cups, what was I going to say? This Knight of Cups is after the fact. So it's okay to disconnect for a while. Worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life. Mother Mary, love, love. You know, of all the cards that could have come out, love comes out. All the cards that could have come out, worth waiting for, now comes out. Divine timing is at work in your love life. That's why I feel this is not something you need to worry about. Matter of fact, I feel the more that you feel good within yourself, the more that you are saying no more to certain types of energy and you're finding inner harmony, it just feels like the gateway that opens up all these blessings. Again, I had this image of you like rubbing this genie's belly, making 3 wishes. And I feel like all 3 are coming true, but not just for you, also for another. Wow. What a reading, Sagittarius. I just loved it. I just love it. I love it for you. You know, I feel like in this type of reading, you want to find yourself in it because there's a lot of free will in this reading, but there's also a lot of divine energy in this reading. So I think I'm just going to let it be. I don't know it could get any more beautiful. And I know it is after the fact. But the willingness, let's start at the very beginning. Trusting your intuition to close the chapters that just are no longer serving you. And that sun is helping to illuminate that for you. Why? So that your wishes can manifest. You know, it's great to have wishes and dreams, but this is about how do we bring them into our lives. A lot of this is just letting go of control. It's saying no more to lower vibrational energy and then just being open. You know, you can say no. I don't know how you're going to say no, but you can. That is your choice. But holy shit. Soulmates, soulmates, unexpected cup of love, inner harmony. Some of you, someone that I used to know. And even though we have some fear down here, which again is something I don't know that I've ever spoken about, I feel like, well, soulmate love, and I feel like you do this for each other, can really help heal us and us them. And for some of you, it's coming through communication. It's like long, deep discussions. It's where I'm able to let it out. And I'm not, and the other person's not judging me. Matter of fact, if anything, they're probably saying, I know exactly what you're talking about. All right, I'm going to let that be. I mean, you definitely take the cake so far. I think you're the 7th reading I've done, so wow. 7, spiritual. Spiritual. Some of you may be having a spiritual awakening. Like, I could definitely see that. And you know, what that brings you. Number one is the truth, but the truth so it can set you free. Like ching ching, joy. love. And here I am still talking. I love you guys. I thank you. Wow. My prayer is that this manifest for those who really want it. And maybe even those who don't know that they want it. I'll see you next time at our table. I almost can't wait to get this reading to you. I love you. Thank you guys. Bye bye.